and our Representative Cable for this bill. This bill we need so bad, it's not funny. We've been talking to you, everybody in here, about a lot of stuff, but it's all about this bill that we're telling you all these other things for. Otherwise, you people wouldn't know about them. And I have to explain this to you. I'm just going to use common sense. I'm no lawyer, right? I'm going to give you all my common sense of why we need this. My father lived on the Wallum Lake Road on 510, 98 years, born in that house. It's just before 1800. He lived there for 98 years. He died 2 years ago. That'd be 100. I was born in the same house 75 years ago, and now I live right side of him. So why I'm telling you that is, I know this whole area up there. I used to drive my father's truck at 11 years old, a break big truck up that road. There was only about 6 houses up there then. So believe me, when I say I know this area, I know it, right? I built houses up there. I've been a builder for 50 years. I built houses all over the state. I shouldn't have said that, all over Burrillville and Gloucester. Up there where they're going to build this power plant is wetlands. This wetlands, like the fella said, Buck Hill is the second highest. This wetlands drains where? South. South of that is Ed Vox's pond on Jackson Schoolhouse Road. That pond empties into a 10-foot wide brook that runs right through my property. That brook feeds Wilson's Reservoir, which in turn goes down the line to other ponds, right? Now they claim themselves, not some that I put up, 52 pollutants they're going to be putting in the air. That pollutants is going to kill everything. Wallum Lake is right there. They drink all the water out of the Wallum Lake reservoir. The hospital drinks it and bathes all them people up there, right? I'm going to read an article a little later on, but I want to don't get ahead of myself, so bear with me because I'm not a politician. I don't speak like this. I'm just a carpenter with a nail and a hammer, and I've been that way for 50 years, right? However, when I was 18, 17, just got out of school, I didn't go to college. 18, I went right in and I protected our country for 4 years, right? I believe in taking care of people here, and I'm hoping you guys believe in the same thing because this is so important, and I think after I read some of these things, you've got to agree with me. This is just really common sense. That's all it is, right? Bear with me now. Like I say, I don't read things and I don't go to these committees. We have went and voted for these people to put in there, and they're supposed to do their job. I don't talk. So that's why you'll notice me hemming her here a little bit, right? People's lives are at stake here because of all the bad stuff that's going to come out of there. They got 2 million gallons in one tank, 2 in another. Now, what I just described to you about the water problems up there, imagine if one of them tanks broke loose, or just one of the tankers that's going up there breaks loose and the oil goes there in that situation, right? The other thing is I got to bring up, too, while my little brain is thinking, the air pollution that they claim they're going to pollute goes 31 miles by the act of a bird. That's all the way to Cumberland. Cumberland or Lincoln, one or the other. But that 31 mile is going to take it to the Scituate Reservoir. That's where all Providence water comes in. Now, if you think about it, common sense tells you, if they're putting this pollution in the air and it snows in the wintertime and you've got a flake size of a quarter, that's going to get that pollution, and where's it going to go? Down into the ground, right? What's going to happen? It's going to get into the ground table water. It's going to get into the rivers and go down the streams, into the lakes and the ponds. It's going to pollute the fish. The other big thing is that I'm going to read an article about it, is there's animals up there that is nowhere else in the state. That's why this is so important. They're in another place in this state that is like up there. None. And I got to read that to you because you'll understand what I'm talking about. And a lady read an article here about 1988, right? This article here is written in July 2nd of 2012 by Janet Hoyt, which is in charge of DEM. And this is what she had to say. Bear with me now. I'm not a good reader neither. Providence, the Department of Environmental Management has acquired 189 acres of land of Burrillville from the Boy Scouts of Rhode Island. And that's where they said earlier, 1988, they couldn't do anything up there. And she was so happy to get this that she made this article here, right? And she says in there, from the Boy Scouts, the parcel is situated adjacent to over 7,000 acres on state preserve land. To the north of the property lies 2,084 acres, Buck Hill Management Area, and to the south is 5,203 acres, George Washington Durfee Hill Management Area. The property also abuts a Connecticut Aquatic State Forest to the west. This property is considered among the highest priority conservation possible in the state, and the high concentration of protected land in the area allows for increased habitat protection with minimal disturbance. Now, this disturbance here is not no minimal. You have to agree with that. This is really a big, big thing, right? Now, I said all that. Now, the other thing is I told you about the Scituate Reservoir. Them pollutants are going to go that way. So let's see what else I got here. Solar power, we like. It's not going to pollute anybody. There's no poison gas or anything from it. If you took some of these pipelines that they got and put solar power up there, it would be great. Now, somebody said, and I can't tell you who, but if they put up 2% of solar power each year, we would have enough electricity without this big plant, right? This big plant, they claim, can get on message in, what would he say, 2 hours or something like that? You see what Senator Schumer said in New York? He's stopping, he wants to stop, and another woman senator wants to stop the fracking pipeline going through. If they don't have that frack gas coming through there for help up here, how are we going to do this? If they don't have it, what are they going to do? They're going to use that oil. And I'm going to tell you common sense-wise that if they have a problem, they are going to run oil all the time. Now, think about this. You've seen the buses down here in the city, right? You ever see a bus when he stops and when he takes off? The smokestack is unbelievable. Well, what's going to happen with that plant when that smokestack goes up? It's going to be everywhere. That's going to settle down on the earth. That's going to be in the water, right? And that's going to travel south, too, because we're up on a hill like this. There's no brainer in this here, for me anyway, for me. And I'm hoping it's going to work for you guys, too, like the other committee did, the House. I'm so tickled with them, and I hope I'm tickled with you guys, too. Like I said, I'm no politician and I'm no lawyer.
I think I think you're the common sense candidate for the next election.
Yeah.
There he is.
I have been to just about every meeting that our council has had. And every meeting we went to, they told us they can't do a thing because they stripped us of our vote. The state has. And I believe that was down in 1986 that they stripped us. So our council couldn't say nothing. So now that's one of the other reasons why we're here. They told us that in the beginning. And they also told us, like the people told us, they kept saying, we have no opinion. We can't side with you. We can't side away from you. But they wouldn't do anything. They listened to us, but that's all they ever did. So we're so far behind the 8 ball here, it's not funny. That's why we're looking for you guys to pick up on it. I think I've said enough. How's that? But well, I hope you guys are with us. I really.
Are there any questions or comments for this
Thank you for
witness?
listening to me. Believe me.
Thank you very much.
Thank
You can't add much more than your father said.
I think
You want to
I
defer?
think he said it all.
I jump in once in a while. I hope you don't mind.
Yesterday, he cut in on an interview that I had with one of the radio people outside. I had to yell at him. So my name is Brian Putnam. I am Ken's son. I worked with my father my whole life. I started my company in 2008, right after the housing crashes. So I know what it means to be without work, because back in 2005, 2006, housing markets went down. We're pretty much brand new houses, small company, maybe 2, 3, maybe 4 houses tops in our good years. We did all the work ourselves. So I am a registered contractor, and I feel with the union people, totally, I get it. I am a licensed ISDS license. I've for probably about 25 years. So I've been dealing with groundwater, ensuring the systems do not get into the groundwater or ledge, because I always often ask myself, why wouldn't you want it to get to ledge? Because the gravel will purify it before it gets to the ledge. So you want to make sure there's enough gravel in between it, because if it gets into the gravel system, the bedrock system, it will go into the bottom aquifer, which is called fossil water. So we don't want this to happen at all. So most of our wells are in the groundwater aquifers, which the Pascal well is, and a mile away is the Harrisville well, which I believe is in the same aquifer. I have been down to DEM, and I'm trying to get an appointment to talk to somebody at DEM. Everybody's very difficult with everything, as you can imagine. So I am trying to gather information on that. Now, also, I lived just about a couple miles up from my father's house about 16 years ago. It was right on top of Buck Hill. And that is the second highest point in Rhode Island. So that means most of the water goes down the hill to Scituate Reservoir, to Providence, to the Blackstone River, everywhere. While I lived there, it's such a high elevation. And by the way, there is a forestry tower there, so if I was friendly with the forestry people, and when he was up there, he would let me climb up there, which it's spectacular view. If you could ever talk to anybody from the forestry department, get up there and you bring your kids. You can see Providence. You can see Providence on a clear day, obviously. And at night, you can see the glow from the city. And it's a wonderful sight. It really is. And you can see the beautiful landscape. None other. It's almost like you're in New Hampshire. And that's why everybody in Burrillville and Pasco live in the town of Burrillville, because we always were called the hick people. You Warwick people in Cranston. I was in a hockey all-stars when I was a kid. All the kids picked on Burrillville people because we were hicks. We liked the woods. That's how we were. But my main reason what I'm telling you, I lived on top of Buck Hill, because just a few miles away, and Dad's at the bottom of the valley pretty much, I would have about 6 inches of snow on top of the hill. I'd get to his house, he might have a glazing. So this kind of ecosystem allows the water to penetrate into the ground much slower, because it's in the form of ice and snow, which is a big problem. We've went to the Clean Water Act in Scituate at a seminar about a month ago, and actually Scott Millar, I believe his name was, he was formerly from DEM, put the presentation on, and he had said that one of the big thing in me and Dad being in construction is we're trying to leave a lot more trees and areas up and leave the ground more susceptible for rain to get to the body of the water table, because we're getting too much runoff. It goes away, thus the aquifers not being refilled quick enough. Never mind having a big company doing this. Now, I don't know if you know this, but we only have 1% of water on the earth that is clean, well, not even clean, just drinkable water, maybe, fresh water. Out of that 1%, I would assume, and I don't like to assume, but I'm assuming like 50% of that would have to go to crops. So that really only leaves 0.5% for human consumption. So when I had talked to Scott, I asked him what was the main source of his water. And he says it's all from surface runoff, from all tiny little streams. It's not one big main river that goes to the Scituate Reservoir. Whole bunch of little hilly, streamy things. So this is a concern, I think, with him. He doesn't take a position on it like a lot of people, and I understand that. So it's very important. I think just the smokestacks alone is going to warm the atmosphere up enough, because there's probably only a 2 or 3 degree difference between my house on Buck Hill, on the top of Buck Hill, to his house 2 miles away. So this is going to have a direct impact on that water surface runoff. It's going to run much quicker and not seep back into the ground. Everybody knows this, as far as, or at least they're trying to promote this. And as far as not in my backyard, and I can understand everybody doesn't want it in their backyard, but in certain situations, it's not feasible for you to even consider putting a plant up there, other than the fact that you have the gas and the electricity, because the water is just, I mean, if they draw down the aquifer now, Harrisville well is out of water because it's only a mile away. Contaminants, even though they're saying they're going to clean the contaminants out of the MTBE wells, they're not telling you the contaminants they're putting right back into the water. You know, you got to factor all these things in. So that's why I'm talking about the water, because I especially think we need the water resources on this. I also support the 7 members instead of the 3 members on the siting board. That only makes common sense, because in the 3-member, and remember, we've been in business, my grandfather was in business, we've never worked for anybody, so we have to use our own common sense a lot. If you have 1 pro, 1 con, then you only have 1 person, you know, voting on a matter. And with this matter, this is a big matter. I mean, it's not like an airport. This is something that can kill people. People can die from this. So I think it's a good idea that we do have a little say in something on this matter. And you have to understand the frustration with Burville, because like my dad just said, and I talked to a retired school teacher friend of mine who's about 73 years old, and he said back in 1986, the town got rid of the town meeting, which took away all the rights of the people to speak. So for 30 years, the town of Burville has had no say in anything, pretty much. So it's very frustrating. The teachers, they attack the teachers. They don't want to listen to teachers. If they don't want to listen to you, a couple of our members tried to get on the agenda. Town council says, no, we're not going to listen to you. It's not even going to make the agenda. This is not right. This is not kind of the America that you know, I was born and raised to live in. My mother, grandmother and grandfather came from Germany, probably for some of the same reasons. They were not getting treated right, so they came to America. So we believe in the rights and liberty of America. So I guess after they got rid of the town meeting, that's when they started the town charter, which I have no idea. I am a cop, and I'm not going to get into any more politics. But if we could get this bill approved, that would give a little bit of voice, and you guys all know that they're not going to listen to all the town people. That just gives us a voice in it. We have people like you, people like our town council that should be in our favor, but obviously we have some problems with our town right now. We never knew how big the problems were, but we're realizing it right now. So I could go on a little bit more, but I think everybody else has covered that, and you guys heard just about enough. I don't want to repeat anybody else. And I would also like to thank Senator Fogarty and Representative Kale for this opportunity, and I would appreciate you guys listening to all our concerns. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions for this witness? Thank you. Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, I almost lost my train of thought here. On the board, it would be really great if we had a water person on that board, because water is so important, right? The other big thing that I really worry about is, with all this pollution that this is going to do, we should have a medical person on that board to tell us what's happening to our bodies as we live there. Follow what I'm saying? I mean, this is really disaster up there. Really is.
Can I add?
We're only asking you not to take care of the plant or anything like that. We only give you all that information just so you can understand. We really need Senator Fogarty's message and Representative Keeble. We need that to help us, because the other thing that's going to be brought up here, and you guys know as well as I do you know any business that has done something and didn't get the job? I've had them 50 years, right? These guys have had them too, right? Now, just think. Do you think they're telling us all the truth about this here? No, they're not. The fella just told you about, and I read it also, that they're not responsible for this dirty water that they say they're going to clean up. If anything goes up and breaks or anything and people get sick or anything, they're not responsible. The town is responsible. I mean, how ridiculous can that be? If they're doing it, they're using it, and it breaks, and we have to suffer from it. The other big thing is anything that goes wrong, the town of Burrillville is going to have to pay for it. And I'll give you another example of that. That's Algonquin, the one that they just rebuilt up there, right? Their noise right now is way, way, way over what they're supposed to have. And they haven't built this plant site of it yet. So you can imagine the noise we're going to get from them 2 plants there, right? Our council hasn't done a thing about it. Not a darn thing. What do we have a council for, you know? But I know it's nothing to do with you guys. It's just that we need this little bit of help from you so that we can stand up and fight for ourselves. That's what we really need. All right, gentlemen?
Thank you.
Can I just say a couple more things?
A couple more things. We still have a lot of people here tonight.
He started it. I'll be really quick.
Come on, hurry up. Now I know why they call you Hick.
My whole point was being with the water was when the Pasco well was in service, we had ranked number 2 in the whole country of the cleanest water. So I had told some of the other boards earlier in some of the other meetings, it would make more sense to me to get water, like Ocean State had to go all the way down to Woonsocket, get it out of the Blackstone River, because it's a little dirtier there, so they're going to filter it. It makes common sense to get it near where the water is going back into the ocean, not where it's starting at the top. And another quick point I'd like to make, if we keep on taking, now picture that wall right there is like Rhode Island, or even like Burrillville or whatever. But if we punch a hole in it and we call that a power plant, right? You got a hole in the wall. Now for me, that means I got to fix a hole. So if years go by and another company like Invenergy comes, which I'm kind of a little upset with the way their lawyer called it a game, right in the middle of a game. This is not a game. This is our life dream to live in Burrillville. We've put our life, all our money into all our land. I plant my kids. I want my grandkids to live. I want everybody to live there, you know? And so if I keep on punching holes all over that wall every time a new company wants to come in here, pretty soon that whole wallscape is messed up to beyond repair. You could have to do some major renovations. So it would make much logical if I was in the business to start reusing some of these old plants. Even though the gas line might not be that close, well, this is a stipulation. Well, They're making a lot of money. Make them bring the gas over there. Keep our land. Rhode Island is how big? This big? How many power plants do we have in it? Our neighboring states are huge. I bet you we have about the same number. We're just too small of a state. We don't need all this. And thank you very much.
Thank you.